which is sad. Okay, so the UI with TKinter. So once again, there are many UI frameworks in Python. So this one, I think you should all know like Kiwi because we did the. Oh, some of you should know Kiwi because we did the first
Oh
the
yeah, Kiwi.
calculator.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
we did the calculator with Kiwi, but unlike TKinter, Kiwi, remember how difficult Kiwi was to install
Yeah,
for
it
some
took
reason?
us like till 10:30 or something.
Wait,
Yeah,
which one?
The
this
one for the
one.
calculator.
Yeah, this is
Remember,
for the
like
Oh
calculator.
yeah,
importing.
yeah, the first class. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Right? So this thing it becomes really hard to install sometimes. Um, but TKinter is it's famous. It's like known for its simplicity. So it's like it's great for beginners, and it's capable of doing UIs as well, and you don't have to download anything at all. So it becomes really easy to use overall. So that's why we use TKinter for beginners. So for the flow diagram, so first you import the TKinter module, of course. But you don't have to download it because it already comes with the Python thing. Then you initialize the window manager, just like the Pygame. Um, then you can rename the window, but you don't have to. Same as Pygame. Then if you want to display text, you responsible for like displaying text. And then if you want the text to actually show up, then you use the pack method to pack the label widget onto the screen. And for those who are like at the core dev when we were like first starting or before the release, then you should be kind of familiar with pack, or you should have seen it, but because our software used pack before, but then there's many geometry management things, but pack is one of the easier ones to use. Then the main loop method. So this is very
Wait,
similar
is
to
that the
the while
yes?
loop
Wait, that's the one in
in
the UI, right? Where and then in the framework you call on the function, right?
yeah.
I think I saw that.
Yes. Yes. There's a main loop method. It does the exact same thing as the while loop. So it just runs until you manually close the or call a quit function. So steps to building a UI. First thing, you need to import the key component. So that's the TKinter module. Then after you import the TKinter module, you initialize the window manager. You can do tkinter.tk, and you can assign it to a variable. This just creates like a blank like a blank window. You can maximize and minimize the window. Then you can rename, but you don't have to. You can rename by doing window.title. Window is your window, like if you called it like if you put root in here, then it would be like root dot title. Usually a lot of people use root, but this is like the window dot title. So title of the window. Then you can then you make a widget called a label. So you again, this is used to put text onto the window, and you need to call the pack to actually display it. Again, pack is just pack it onto the screen. You can pack many things onto the screen at once. So finally, you need the main loop method, or else your window won't actually show up for until like you won't be able to do anything with the window if it just closes instantly. So an example here. So here you can see they imported the TKinter module. Then they called it window.tkinter.tk. So this will just create like a blank window. You can rename the window like this, but you don't have to again. Then if you want to put something on the screen, you do tkinter.label. Use the label widget, and then here you takes parameter, like you specify which which window you want, and then you insert the text. Then if you again you need to show up on the screen, so you do the dot pack. Then after finally again you need to have the main loop, or else it'll instantly close. So widgets.
Oh, sorry, Kyler, for interrupting. So do you want to send the code to the chat, let them to give it a try and see
Oh
what?
yeah, sure. So open your spiders and let's try this out. I will send to the chat. So remember hashtags again, and then boom, here you go. You can paste that into your spider, and then let me know when everyone has it done, and then we can.
Oh, it's just like a game window saying "Welcome to DataCam's TKinter."
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's yeah.
what-
That's all we have so far.
Cool, it worked.
Okay, so widgets. So a button. So this is literally what it says, a button. A button widget is just literally a button. So when the user clicks a button, you can call a function with it, and something will happen, but you can decide what happens. So canvas, you draw shapes, you can draw things, and yeah, basically just drawing things. Check buttons, check buttons, like when you, it's like the box, and when you click, there's a question mark, so it's a true or false type of thing. And you can select more than one of them at a time, and you can leave it unchecked if you want. And the entry is like when you want to type something into a text box, entry will get the input text from the UI, and then a frame or a container in the on the screen on the window, and it's like a frame is like a big frame, and you can, everything that you put will be like grouped inside the specified frame. You can put like text, and it'll go inside the frame, and like you can have a big screen, and you specify the frame. So a label is just to create like text or even images. So the geometry management. So pack, it puts things in it just packs everything onto the screen. Like it packs whatever you want onto the screen, and it is like it is one of them. It's like the conventional method to place things on the screen, and it'll just place it where there is available space. And the grid, this organizes the widgets in a table-like structure. Grid, you can set the coordinates on the grid, so you can sort of tell it where to place whatever you are trying to put on the screen. And the place is also used for specific positions. Like you can vary like specific like structure, so it'll like place things in sort of a table format. Not it doesn't follow exactly your coordinates. It's like row, column, that kind of thing. So organizing, layout, and widgets. So to arrange layout in the window, use the frame widget class. So can use a simple program to see how the frame works. So you'll use the pack class and basically put 4 buttons in the window. So it should kind of look like I'll give you the code. And put this code in your spider, and you can make a new file, you can replace it.
We make a
with
new one.
I'm gonna replace
You
it.
can yeah, you can replace it. This pretty much this contains already the same thing. So it should look like this once you have it. First, you import TKinter. Then again, the window variable is the tkinter.tk. So this is creating the window. Then they renamed the window GUI, so graphical user interface. So what they did is they created a top frame, and you can see this is top frame. Inside the parameter, you put the which window you want to place it on. In this case, it's the only window we have it open currently, and pack it onto the screen. So the top frame is like the frame that contains these 2 buttons. Then bottom frame over here. Bottom frame is so same thing, TKinter dot frame window and then dot pack. But inside dot pack, you can have parameters. You can specify like where you would want to pack, and you can specify like the side. So if they want to pack it on the side, like if it was just another frame, then the frames would like they would share the screen, but they specified here that they want to pack this frame to the bottom of the screen. So that's why this frame is at the bottom of the screen. And once they had the frame at the top and the bottom, they created the first button. So button 1 equals. So here we do tkinter dot button, and in the button you specify which frame you would like to put the button in this case button 1 is on the top frame, so button 1 top frame. And you need text on a button, so there's text. You can put text here. You can also like set the foreground, which is the text color, and the background. And there's many more things for the button, but in this case it's just foreground, and you can see the text color is red with foreground, and they packed it here.
Can we customize it?
You can try.
Okay.
So FG stands for foreground, and it's for coloring the content of the button, so like the text in this case. So button 2 here, this is the second button on the top frame. So TKinter button top frame again. So you specify which frame, and the text, of course, button 2. So that's what it says on the button. And the foreground this time is green, so you can see the text is green, and they also pack it onto the screen so it actually shows up. Then button 3. So you can see here there's something a bit more tricky. Not really tricky, but more detailed. So this time they specified bottom frame, so the frame at the bottom. Text button 3, of course. Foreground this time it's purple, so it's this button right here. Pack, and then they packed it, but then they did. You can have another side again. Do the side parameter thing. And this time they set the side to left. So that is why you see the buttons here going to the bottom left of the corner and not directly below, like you would expect. Same for button 4. So this time they made the button orange text and also packed side to the left. So since button 3 is already in the position where button 4 would be if button 3 didn't exist, button 4 is now where there is no occupied, the space isn't already occupied. So to the right more. And again, window.main loop. So the this is the same as the while loop. So it'll keep running your code. So it'll keep the window in an infinite loop until you close it, so it doesn't instantly close. That is basically what it is. That is basically what the code does. So here's the grid layout. The grid is a way to organize the widgets. So you can have a matrix row column concept. So here you see like square tiles in a matrix format, sort of. So the grid primarily takes 2 parameters, row and column. So you can see in the image, you can see the 0, 0. It's the top left over here. So the 0th row, the 0th column, and the 0, 1, so the 0th row, and the first column, this goes over here. Same thing for these two. And the grid, it'll take row and column parameters like that. And an example here is this. So I will send you the code and then I'll explain. Okay. So copy and paste the new code. And so let's see what you guys got with this code. Frankie.
Oh, cool. That's like a login screen.
Yeah. Frankie, would you like to share your screen? Yep. Here we go.
am pro system login creator.
Nice. You don't need all of the import.
Yeah, you can just
Hold on, let me do something.
replace the stuff now. Or no,
Yeah, you can do what Frankie's doing. You can
comment it out.
put all of these in.
No, but I like just have one window.
You can put all of the code in one, so it'll just display one window at a time.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does right now.
Yep, that's what it's doing. Okay, so is anybody having any issues with the code?
To log you into something.
Okay, so again, window TKinter.tk, and so here you have the label. So you have a label here, username. So this label right here, what it says right here, this label is what it says right here. This is the label right here, and you can see it instead of .pack this time, it is .grid row equals 0. So the topmost row, so right here, it is, since they didn't like specify the column, it is also going to place it at the 0th column by default. So here you can see TKinter.entry. Here's you also place it on the window. So you have the .grid row and column units, but you can see the column here is 1 this time, so it'll place here instead of here. This column is this column is the 0th column, and this column is 1. So down here. So you can see it is to the right of username. And here you can see they did the same thing. Text is password. So this label right here, this is this on the screen, grid row equals 1. So this is the actual second row now. So you remember that computers start at 0. And the password, it's, since they didn't specify column, it is also placed on the 0th or 1st column by default. And for the entry, for the password entry, you can see row and row equals 1, column equals 1. So row 1, column 1. So the second row actually, and the second column. And for the last one, you can see that there's a check button. For the check button, you do not, you don't like have a label beside the check button. For the check button, it comes with its own text. So TKinter.check button, and the window that you want to be on, and the text keep me logged in. So it's this text right here, and column span 2. So this will span 2 columns worth of space. So it places it right in the middle. Then again, window.main loop. So this will keep looping your code. And that is that code. Hold on, let me change. Okay, so binding commands, binding or command functions. So you can see here, I will send you this code. This is how you bind the function to a code. not to a code, to a button. So you should see what happens when the button is pressed.
Wow, I wonder how long I can make the window like that.
Share
Get
your
my
screen.
autoclicker out.
Let us see how you got this window.
Okay, so yeah, you click it, and each time you click it, it says GUI with TKinter.
Yep.
So, you can change this, right?
Yep, you can change everything.
Cool. And then
You can see here that they define a button click function here. So this is what happens when this is what you specify what's going to happen here, like right here when you press the button. So TKinter.label window text. So the text that appears when you press the button GUI with here you can see the button is being defined here. Text on the button is click me, and the command on the button when you press it is button click, and button click was defined right here. So this is what happens when you press the button, and of course you have to pack the button as well to make it show up. Window.main loop again, so that your code whole window doesn't close immediately, and that is basically what happens. An alert box. This is pretty useful if you want to, like, for example, in our software math contest, it shows you got the question like correct or incorrect, or
oh, so this is the pop-up window part,
yeah,
right?
this is the pop-up message box.
Nice.
So I will explain the code first. Okay, so the message box is another module. You have to import TKinter.message box. So to create a message box, you can do TKinter.message box. You do TKinter.message box. Show info. There's like several of these. It's not only show info. There are several, but we can get into those later. The text that appears on the window here's this is like the caption or title of the window, and this is the main text in the window. This is just an alert message. So here's another like message box pop-up. So for show info, the you press, there's like, remember there's an OK button like this on the message window, and when you press like OK, it'll disappear. But for ask question, it's going to be like you can say yes or no. So here you see ask question, tricky question, do you love deep learning? And here's a basic if else. So you can specify if else. So this is what happens when they click either option. So if response, if they press yes or one, so option one, then the text will say yes, of course I love deep learning. Otherwise they'll say no, I do not, no, I don't love deep learning. And of course you have to pack both of them, and then the main loop again. So I'll send this code into the chat and you can try it out. Try writing
While you're
if
bad here.
response equals yes.
Wait, where do?
Yeah, right there. No, yeah, right there. And change if response equals 1, then to if
Oh.
response equals yes. No, you need string, I think.
Oh, yes.
Pretty sure.
Nope, still. Oh, wait.
That was the other one.
Well, okay, yeah.
That worked. It worked.
Boom. Okay, well, you got
Okay,
it.
so now,
You
yeah, now.
got it
Okay, so I
backwards.
just had the order messed up.